candidates and campaigners who worked tirelessly but without success, I'm sorry that we could not deliver what your efforts deserved. It pains me to think how many good colleagues who contributed so much to their communities and our country will now no longer sit in the House of Commons. I thank them for their hard work and their service. Following this result, I will step down as party leader, not immediately, but once the formal arrangements for selecting my successor are in place.
It's quite sad.
It is important that after 14
sad.
years in government, the Conservative Party rebuilds.
Very sad.
That it takes up its crucial role in opposition, professionally and effectively. When I first stood here as your Prime Minister, I told you the most important task I had was to return stability to our economy. Inflation is back to target. Leading to support Ukraine and becoming the home of a new generation of transformative technologies. And our United Kingdom is stronger too, with the Windsor Framework, devolution restored in Northern Ireland, and our union strengthened. I'm proud of those achievements. I believe this country is safer, stronger, and more secure than it was 20 months ago. And it is more prosperous, fairer, and resilient than it was in 2010.
Yeah, the wife can see she's
Whilst he has been my political opponent, Sir Keir Starmer will shortly become our Prime Minister. In this job, his successes will be all our successors, and I wish him and his family well.
Wow.
Whatever our disagreements in this campaign, he is a decent, public-spirited man who I respect. Huge transition to their new lives behind this door, and as he grapples with this most demanding of jobs in an increasingly unstable world. I'd like to thank my colleagues, my cabinet, the civil service, especially here in Downing Street, the team at Chequers, my staff, CCHQ, but most of all, I'd like to express my gratitude to my wife Akshata and our beautiful daughters. I can never thank them enough for the sacrifices they have made so that I might serve our country.
Yeah, it's not easy. Wow.
One of the most remarkable things
I just got
Britain
goosebumps all over.
is just how unremarkable it is.
Bless him.
That 2 generations after my grandparents came here with little, I could become Prime Minister.
Imagine, that's
an
achievement.
My 2 young daughters light Diwali candles on the steps in Downing Street. We must hold true to that idea of who we are. That vision of kindness, decency, and tolerance that has always been the British way. This is a difficult day, at the end of a number of difficult days. But I leave this job honoured to have been your Prime Minister. This is the best country in the world, and it is thanks entirely to you, the British people, the true source of all our achievements, our strengths, and our greatness. Thank you.
Oh, bless him. That's, what about the children? Oh, because they're too young. Oh.
His wife, Akshata, Rishi Sunak, leaving Downing Street as Prime Minister for the final time after 20 months in office.
That's the king.
In that speech, an apology to the country, an apology to his party, an apology to his colleagues who had lost their seats. He went on to highlight some of the achievements he believes he had made in his time here, settling the country's economy, bringing back some stability after the political and economic explosion of his predecessor, Liz Truss. He said he would stay as Conservative leader until the formal arrangements to make his successor are in place.
So he's going
those arrangements do not yet exist. So it is unclear for how long he will actually remain Conservative leader, but he is not driving away today, never to have any role at the top of his party again. So he said once formal arrangements are in place,
he will leave.
He will step down as the Conservative Party leader. You can see him entering Whitehall there.
Bless him.
And you can probably also hear some of the boos and jeers as the cars make their way off to Buckingham Palace. One notable other close at the end of his speech. He He referenced the fact that it had been unremarkable that he was the first British Asian Prime Minister, 2 generations of his family, and he has ended up in number 10.
Wow.
And I wonder there if he was just making Farage's Reform Party, who did well in this election, having secured several MPs. And Rishi Sunak says we must hold true to the ideal that saw him being able to come to Downing Street as a non-white
To
left
the
saying
palace.
he leaves on a difficult day, after many difficult days, honoured to have carried out the job on behalf of the country. Ending to Chris Mason, our political editor, with some gracious words to Sir Keir Starmer. We've heard that a couple of times in the last 24 hours. He said he was a decent, public-spirited